Good morning, Internet. Nick here. I'm just doing a short video this morning. It's an awesome day here in Rotorua. It's been warm this weekend, thank goodness, because we had a cold winter. I've got my hippie tea, some herbal concoction here, and just doing a short video on how to make that decision to buy or not, because, man, I talk to a lot of investors, and either working with us or just in social networks or in gatherings or at the pub, my dentist, and this comes up a lot. Like, there's a deal there, right? You've been seeing the deal, and there's an opportunity to buy it, and the numbers look okay. Should we buy it or not? And often people get to this point and freak out, which is perfectly normal. It's a sign of excitement. You should actually feel a bit of nerves every time you put a property on under offer. It's an exciting time. There's anticipation. We all like the hunt, sort of thing. And I thought I'd share my thinking on the difference between the people who get through that and buy, and the people who freak out and then procrastinate for whatever reason and don't buy and don't move forward. And it has absolutely nothing to do with personality. I don't think any of us are born with a courage gene or anything like that, but I do think it has a lot to do with preparation. And I got fired up my Photoshop, which is the back of a used printed out sale and purchase agreement, and I did up a wee picture inspired by something I saw at how Tom Panos presented something at the conference recently. And this is sort of the old image of an iceberg, and you see the tip and what people see, versus all the stuff that's happening in the background that reinforces it. And so at the top of your iceberg here, it's a really well-drawn iceberg, very symmetrical. You've got the finding and the buying, and you see people out there getting good deals, and you think, oh yeah, this person's getting it because they're good at investment, or they're lucky, or they got a lead. You know what? We all get leads. A couple of weeks ago, I decided to start looking in Rotorua for whatever reason. I live here, but I haven't invested here for a while. And man, I think by the end of the week, I'll have looked at like 15 properties. Just opportunities finds those people are looking for them. The stuff that separates those who actually go out and buy is what's below this, the waterline here. And it's sort of aimed at first-time investors, so I've got a few things that others might already have locked away. But have you actually saved some money up? People who have committed to property investment and have either built up equity in their home carefully or have saved some money are showing that they're sticking to a plan and a discipline. Are your finances under control? You know, if you've got a lot of car debt, consumer debt, credit card debt, etc., and you're running around chasing your tail on all this stuff, very hard to focus on buying an investment that's going to make you between 5 and 8% a year when you're paying 20% for depreciating assets, and you're on that sort of cycle. So look, if you're spending more than you're making, or you're having 4 coffees a day, avocado, whatever it is, that might be the first person to look. Number three on the list is, have you got a team? I find it a lot easier to buy a property if I've had a builder, an architect, my property manager, an investor friend, or a property finder, or what have you, people that I trust go through it, versus me going through it, and particularly when I'm new, not really knowing what's good and what's bad and what's important. So having a team is important. Knowledge, a bit of knowledge, and I've got research further down. I've sort of the same thing, but knowledge, if you're just starting out, take a couple of months to do some reading. Go to the library, get out every property book you can, and start reading front to back. I helped proof the New Zealand Property Guide by Lisa Dudson once upon a time, so I can vouch for that book. There are others out there. Spending 2 weeks reading a couple of books and just understanding how all this stuff fits together is good. The other place that's awesome for knowledge is your local Property Investors Association. I bang on this drum all day long. I don't get any financial benefit from helping, from people going along to these. They're just awesome. Tons of resources, great speakers, monthly meetings, just tax deductible. It's an absolute no-brainer. Plan. So I divide plan into 4 things. What are we going to do? Why are we doing it? When are we going to do it by? And then that all flows into how you're going to do it. So the what is your goal. So what are we trying to achieve with property investment? Why? There's a lot of research on finding your why and motivation. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go and Google Simon Sinek, Find Your Why. It's the Golden Circle or something like that. He did a very famous TED Talk on that, which is amazing. I think when is the most popular, sorry, not most popular, one of the most powerful and less understood concepts, because the deadline will shape what you do. If you want to make $100,000 passive income in 5 years or 30 years, what you need to do and when and how are very, very different. And having that idea is going to be very beneficial for you as you make decisions and eliminate options, which is often hard with property. Research. Again, I mean, if you've got a good team in place locally, then this is less crucial. But if you're the DIY type, then you need to know what you're buying into and why, and their local market and what drives it, etc., etc. And it's a time commitment. Commitment. We do this instead of going on holidays to Fiji. A lot of people I know went to Fiji this year. Some of them have got properties, but most of them don't. I stayed here doing repairs and work, etc. Maybe next year I'll get to go to Fiji. But, we're doing this instead of, we're sacrificing something in the short term for the long term game. And it's a real commitment, and you have to really, and it comes back to the savings and the financial stuff at the top that sucks to work through, to be honest. We'd all rather be driving flash cars and drinking nice coffee. But, I mean, if you're committed to this and you're doing all the work in here, that's a really good sign. Last one, most important, of course, is etc. All this stuff under the water here is what we don't see. When you see pictures, people throw up before and after photos on Facebook and say, hey, I bought this house and look, it was a meth hovel, rats, and now it's gorgeous. And people just think, wow, how did you have that courage and vision and foresight and finances, and you're in the time at the right place, and you had the team around you, and to execute, and all those things I've just said right now were under that line. They all had it in place before they went out and started looking at deals. If you go and look at a deal and you think, man, this is too hard, then odds are one of two things. Either you're very experienced and you know that, or you haven't got a team in place. Because when I look at a tricky deal, the first thing I'm thinking is, okay, how can I do it? Who can I involve? What would need to happen for this to be worth buying? It might still be too hard, but I've got a thought process that I run through my prep before I come up to that conclusion. So just hopefully this is encouraging for people who find that the thought of buying a property is overwhelming. It is overwhelming probably because you haven't done enough of the preparation, mental, there's some processes as well, like applying for a mortgage and things like that. And just maybe instead of frustrating yourself running and looking at open homes and just but then backing out or not being sure what you can offer and not being sure what things are going to cost or how you're going to do it, spend a little bit of time actually shoring up all those questions, and then when you're out there, you can and you see a property, you can just grab it with confidence. Have a great day, and I hope this was helpful.